Hey everybody, I'm Paulie G. Welcome back to the Paulie G Show, coming to you live from high atop Mount Georgia. How are you doing? I really hope that you're doing well. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I just want to say a quick thank you to everyone who watched my recent J200 video and for giving me your opinions on my idea for a double pickguard on this, and I think you've talked me off the ledge, at least for the moment. So the majority of you said that that was a really bad idea. Some of you thought it was okay, but for now, I'm gonna leave this guitar in its original factory configuration. For now, you never know. I have definitely the right to change my mind at some point, but we're here today to talk about my prediction for what could be the greatest guitar price market crash since the Great Depression. Now, why do I say that? Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about inflation and guitar inflation in particular, and why I think that the market is really ready for a correction here in 2024. So we're in, as I speak right now, we're just about at the end of February 2024. And, you know, in this post-COVID world, we've all been on this inflation roller coaster, everything that we buy, right? So I don't have to tell you that when you go to the supermarket or the gas station, prices are, huge compared to what they were a few years ago. Now, inflation occurs when there is a shortage of a supply of a desired product or service versus the amount of people and or money available to buy said product or purchase. And we all are experiencing a shortage of affordable food and affordable housing. And there's a lot of shortages in the world. There's a shortage of clean air and clean water. But there is no shortage of guitars. We grind these out like link sausages. And guitar companies call this progress. And to this I say, let us hush this cry of progress until 10,000 years have passed. That's Alfred Lord Tennyson, Luxley Hall. Anyway, seriously, guitars have been no exception, and the price for new guitars has skyrocketed in the last 3 years, I would say. And I think that what I'm starting to see, because I spend an inordinate amount of time on Reverb.com. For those of you like myself that love to shop.
That's who we are. Let's not fight it. We are a nation of consumers. We love to shop, shop, shop.
What I'm seeing is the new prices are getting really, really high. But when the time comes to sell that guitar, the seller is really taking a beating. And I'm going to show you a few examples of what I'm talking about. The guitar prices, the inflation has been astronomical in recent years. And I just feel like the market has to be close to full saturation point. And we may already be there based on what I see for the used prices. So let's look at a few examples. We'll start with the beloved J200. So here we have a brand new Gibson J200 standard, and you'll see the price is $54.99, and that's the 2024 price in the color of your choice. That's going to be the price you pay, and you'll be hard pressed to find any place that sells them for much less than that. That seems to be the going rate across all Gibson distributors or sellers. However, if you pay that price a few years later, and you go to sell that guitar, you're going to take a real beating, at least now. For example, take a look at this 2016 J200 in what they describe as very good condition, and I looked at the photos, and it looks really, I would almost describe it as excellent condition. And look at the price. It's $3,000. Now, that's more than a 40% discount from a brand new J200. So, that's really a tough thing to swallow, in terms of a loss in value. Here's another example. The ever popular J45. The new list price is $29.99, and that's across the board through dealers. Now that's about a $600 increase in the last 2 years. And when you look for used ones that are a year or two old, you'll see this example, which is way less than the person paid for that guitar, and it's in mint condition. Or here's even a lower example of one that's in good condition for less than $2,000. So, the used market, I think, is going to be the place where more people are going to opt. And that is almost certainly going to start to drive down the new guitar price. Let's take a look at electrics. The Les Paul Standard is the most popular version of the Les Paul, and that price has skyrocketed in the last few years. It's now $29.99 for the Les Paul Standard. Again, that's at least a $600 price increase over the last 2 years. That's pretty amazing. But when you go to sell that guitar, here's an example of one in mint condition for only $23.99, and I'm sure that's just a quick, search that I did. You could probably find them for far less than that even. So you're really going to take a beating in the short term on that new guitar price, and I think that really is going to demotivate people possibly from buying brand new guitars. Let me show you one more example. This is a model that when it was released was going to be considered to be a real collector's item. It's the least expensive version of the Kirk Hammett Greenie Moore Les Paul. There are ones that were $50,000 and $20,000 and $12,000. This is the quote unquote most affordable version, which is around the $3,200 price range, brand new. But immediately, if you turn around and try to sell that guitar, they're coming in at around $2,600. So that particular model was definitely, that market was saturated. They overproduced those. There's lots of new ones for sale. And I think the price is going to start to, come down on those significantly. So, but let's, I know everybody say, you're really picking on Gibson, and I know you're right. So let's wander over to our friends at Fender and see what they're up to. Now, I've always been a staunch opponent or outspoken opponent of signature model guitars in general. I don't think they're worth the extra money most of the time. I think sometimes even it's almost bordering on a little bit silly. And this is no exception to that. So here we have the Rory Gallagher Stratocaster, the custom shop Stratocaster, which is really just it's a relic Strat with a bolt-on neck, no binding anywhere on the guitar, no beautiful inlay work or anything. And, look at the price. It's amazing what they're getting for that guitar. Outrageous! Outrageous! Now, here's that same guitar, what I would presume to be a year later. And obviously the condition really is kind of irrelevant when you think about a relic guitar, right? I mean, it's going to be more scratched than it was when you got it. So it'd be hard to understand why it would be of value to buy a brand new one when you could get a used one for this much less. Another example of why I think the new guitar prices are reaching, or maybe even have reached a saturation point. And for me, I'm speaking even personally when I'm trying to sell guitars now, and I've put a few on the market recently. Some of them I actually pulled back because they just weren't selling at what I considered to be a more than fair market price. And I'm not going to give my stuff away. I'm going to hold on to it because I don't need to sell them necessarily. But I don't think it's a good seller market right now.
Wouldn't be prudent at this juncture.
So I'm just going to hold on to things for a little bit longer. Now here we have, I'm going to show you an example of one I have listed, which is my Epiphone Riviera. I bought it brand new. I really didn't play it all that much. It's basically in brand new condition. There's not a scratch on it. It's flawless. And I've listed it here at what I consider to be a more than reasonable price. It's by far the lowest price on Reverb right now for that guitar. And I'm sure it's in as good or better of condition of any of the used ones that are for sale. And you'll look at the amount of views and the amount of watchers I have. It's been on there for 2 months, and a bunch of window shoppers and no buyers. So, I just don't think it's a good seller market right now. And I think the market is definitely, in my opinion, is going to have a correction here in 2024. And maybe, for the next couple of years. I could be wrong. For all I know, a Les Paul will be $4,000 by the end of this year. It could get that crazy, but I don't think it will. I really feel like we may have reached a saturation point. And I hope the price of everything comes down, not only for me, but for you. This inflation is really, it's kind of hurting us all. And it needs to be corrected, but it really needs to be corrected in the guitar market. So anyway, I guess I just wanted to share my view on that. I'd love to hear your opinion and your experiences and what you think about the current state of the pricing of guitars. I think it's by far right now a buyer's market in a sense, at least for the used guitar world. Certainly not brand new. Those prices need to come down. But I think for used guitars, there are some very, very good deals out there if you want to shop around and get something that's almost new for way less than you would pay for brand new. So again, I'd love to hear your opinions on that. Give me your thoughts and any recent experience you have. And if you're interested in that Riviera, by the way, I'll leave a link to my Reverb shop in the description below. It's February, on or about February 24. 2024, and if you're interested in it, it's still there. I've got a review video up you can take a look at. Mint condition, but anyway, just throwing that out there. Who knows? I may end up pulling that one off the market too. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. That's kind of what I had to talk about today. And as always, I appreciate you tuning in and watching the videos. And I guess until next time, this is Paulie G reminding you that when it comes to guitars, shop around for a used one. See you next time.